Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind That. It's your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, today we're going to be going over the latest episode of The Chi, Season 4, episode number 2 called Coolie High. Alright guys, so first I do want to apologize for this late review, but to be honest, mama gotta have a life too, okay? I was celebrating my son's birthday yesterday, which was also Memorial Day, and I do hope that you all had a safe and blessed Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend. Alright, let's get into this episode, okay? The episode starts off with Emmett having a nightmare that Tiff is trying to kill him after finding out that he has sex with Dom. And guys, I was cracking up. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny, you know, how Tiff was chasing him and cursing him out. Anyway, Emmett wakes up after Tiff hits him in the head with a pillow. She asked him if he was okay, and he was like, yeah, I just had a nightmare, you know. So throughout the episode, guys, we see that Emmett's guilty conscience is just torturing him, you know. Every little thing makes him think that Tiffany is mad at him or that she may know something, and that guilt that he's feeling is just going to continue to weigh him down and stress him out. Next, Jayda and Suede try to figure out where they are in their relationship. You know, like, what do we call this thing? Also, Jayda is getting ready for her high school reunion and she doesn't want Suede to go. And this offends him because he feels like she's worried about what people are going to think. And that's when Jayda brings up the fact that they don't even know what the status of their relationship is. So we also don't know how long these two have been fooling around, I guess, if you want to call it that, right? But it does seem like they've been spending a lot of time with each other. And we can see that Suede really likes Jayda, and she seems to like him a lot too. Next, Jake is packing for his college tour, and he finds a box of condoms. And Imani, you know, she marks his doorway, and Jake was like, hey, them condoms are not mine. But Imani lets Jake know that she put the condoms there because she just wants him to protect himself. But that doesn't mean he can go wilding out, you know? Then Trig comes in and he asks Jake if he's sure he still wants to go on the tour. Jake says, yeah, I ain't trying to hide in here my whole life. So Trig was like, look, what happened to you is messed up and I'm just trying to make sure you're good. After Jake tells Trig that he is good, Trig says, well, if you're not, it's okay. You don't have to be strong all the time. And Jake says, yeah, we do. And as he heads to the door, he turns back to his brother and says, I love you. And of course, Trig says, I love you too. And guys, I was so here for this because I've been rooting for Jake and Trig's brotherly relationship since Trig came into the picture last season. Okay, folks, before we move on, I got a question for you guys. How do you take your grits? In an earlier scene, we heard a discussion between Imani and Trig where she was like, didn't I tell you I don't like sugar in my grits? And Trig let her know that those were his grits and that hers was in the other pot, okay? The ones with the cheese in them. So guys, comment down below, sugar or cheese in your grits. I'm going to be honest, guys, I take my grits with sugar, but I also like them with cheese. And if the cheese ain't hitting it right, I got to add me a little bit of sugar, okay? Next, on the bus as the kids are getting ready to go on the college tour, Gemma is being a little annoying to Kev, right? She's making a post about what she wants to do or what she wants to go to school for, and Kev is not in the greatest mood, right? And it's because, you know, he's still pretty traumatized about the police incident, which Gemma doesn't seem to be too concerned with. Instead, she seems to be more concerned that Kevin will make them look unequally yoked because he's not sure what he wants to do for college. Meanwhile, Kevin tries to talk to Jake and asks him how his arm is. Jake tells him that his arm is all right and that the doctor says it should be good in a few days. But when Dakota comes and takes a seat next to Jake and says, poor baby, how's your arm? Jake says, it's real bad. The doctor said it won't be right for a few months. Oh my gosh. And Kevin was over there looking like, what? Anyway, the exchange between Jake and Kevin was pretty awkward, you know, but later on we do see that things seem to get a little better between them, thankfully. Next, Duda goes to the hospital to visit the officer that beat on Jake. So we see that Trig didn't kill him, right? He just put him in the hospital. Anyway, Officer Reeves tells Mayor Perry that Jake attacked him. And when Mr. Perry said, define attacked, Officer Reeves says, I asked him for his ID and he refused. So for me, guys, each response that Officer Reeves gave was just ridiculous, okay? Nothing made sense, and Mayor Perry could see that Officer Reeves had no probable cause for beating or arresting Jake. So after this, Jayda, aka Mayor Perry, goes outside where the press is waiting and announces that Officer Reeves is fired and that racist cops will not be tolerated on his watch. And here is where it all begins, guys, right? We start to see throughout the episode that although Jayda is shaking things up in a good way, he's making enemies along the way. All right. So at this point, I'm thinking that someone political could be behind him being shot. Okay. We also see that this decision to fire Officer Reeves did not go over well with Rose and Mr. St. John. Later on, Rose tells him that he needs to consult with them before he fires another police officer. And Jayda tells Rose that he cannot make that promise. Before this, Jayda also lets Rose and Mr. St. John know that he needed to be bold and that the cop needed to be fired. He also told them that he didn't come this far following the rules. So before we move on, guys, let's point out that as Jayda was leaving the room, he told Rose that he always follows his gut. And she says, well, don't let your gut get you killed. Now, of course, this little comment could make us start thinking that Rose could be the one to shoot Jayda, right? But it could also be too obvious. But we'll see as the episodes continue to add more clues for us, right? Next, Trig picks up his old friend Shad from prison, and in just a few moments, guys, I already felt these bad vibes about him. We see later on that the man has no couth, and Trig had to tell him too many times to stop flirting with Imani and to be respectful. Now, what I don't like is the fact that Trig brought Shad to stay with them without talking with Imani first. That definitely wasn't right in my opinion, right? And just because he did a bid for Trig does not give Trig a reason to disregard Imani. All right, come on now. All right, but at the same time, I do want to look at things through Trig's perspective. So here we go, okay? Now, he could obviously be feeling guilty that Shad did a bid for him, kind of like survival's remorse or something like that, right? But still, Trig should have found a better way, which involves making both Imani and Shad happy, okay? Anyway, before we move on, guys, I gotta tell y'all that I love Jason Weaver, okay? The actor playing Shad. I've been watching him since I was a kid. Well, actually, we both was kids, and I'm always happy to see him still doing his thing, getting work in this industry, okay? But back to his character, though, I do believe he's gonna stir up some freaking mess and drive a wedge between Trig and Imani. I hope that I'm wrong, but that's what I'm thinking so far, okay? All right, next, Mayor Perry calls an impromptu press conference, which Rose says he cannot just be doing, okay? We already see that Rose is like, look, we cannot control this guy, and that is not a good thing, all right? So she feels like he is getting out of control, and she didn't sign up for this, all right? But anyway, Jayda is like, look, that's what I'm doing, and it's done. All right, so he goes out there and he tells everyone that there's a war going on outside against the Black community and the police. He says the Black community is losing and I'm tired of feeling like our lives don't matter. And guys, the next thing he does may have put the nail in the coffin for him, all right? He announces that he is defunding the police, okay, effective immediately. And just as we saw the camera angle turn upside down, we already know that Jayda's decision to defund the police is also going to make the whole city be turned upside down. All right, it's probably going to be total chaos, guys. Next, Emmett and Tiff are getting it in, okay? And Emmett keeps hearing Darnell's voice in his head. So this causes Emmett to respond like a crazy person, and Tiff is like, what the heck is going on? She's trying to figure out what he's saying and everything. Eventually, Emmett blurts out, get the heck out of here. And Tiff pushes him off of her, and she just wants to know what the heck is wrong, right? Why have you been acting so weird since we got married? I'm tired of trying to figure out what's wrong. So Emmett finally tells Tiff that he had sex with Dom, and honestly, I was not expecting this to happen this soon, guys, okay? Anyway, Tiff didn't say anything. She just got up and left. Next thing you know, she's knocking on Dante's door and they start kissing and you already know the rest, okay? And to me, this wasn't a surprise either. We've seen Tiff and this guy have a flirtatious way about them, especially Dante flirting with her, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't going to be hard to figure out that she would run to him for revenge, for me at least, right? And all I could say is Emmett had it coming to him. Okay, you can't be running around here, male or female, cheating on your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend and think that your day is never going to come, okay? You're going to feel the pain you've been inflicting, okay? So it's best to quit while you're ahead. In Emmett's case, it's too late, okay? Tiffany done already got her revenge, honey. I just hope that she washed up before she went to Dante's house, okay? Because that's nasty if she didn't. She done went from one sex scene to the next. Anyway, next, Kev lets these freaking drug addicted rich college kids talk him into doing drugs, all right? They were playing video games after Jake gave Kev money to go, and smoke them out, right? He said, go ahead, place a bet, show him what it is, double the money. But one of the kids wound up asking Kev if he ever did shrooms, right? Then he was like, did you do blow? Have you ever done Molly? And Kev was like, look, I'm good. All that sounds like some white people drugs, and I'm just going to stick with my little vape, right? But of course, the kid doesn't let up, and he continues to press Kev, and he tells him not to be a punk. So eventually, Kev gives in, and looks like he popped a Molly or something like that, right? So on top of that, he was drinking, and this gets Kevin kicked off the tour early, all right? And Keisha had to come pick him up. We already saw in an earlier scene that Nina had to take away Kevin's phone, all right? Well, actually, she took away his TV and his video games, and her and Dre plan to get him a flip phone, all right? This is because Nina and Dre haven't been happy with Kevin's behavior lately, okay? He's been coming home drunk and high, all right? Anyway, guys, Keisha tells Kevin that he doesn't know how good he has it. All he has to do is his schoolwork and act like he has some freaking sense. Then she says, I'm supposed to be at college, but instead I'm picking you up from a college tour because you don't know how to act. Meanwhile, Kev was sick as a dog, guys, okay, throwing up in the toilet. Anyway, guys, I felt pretty bad for Keisha in this scene, and also in an earlier scene where we saw how she was being treated by her supervisor. And I just feel bad for everything that she's going through. It just has to be rough. Okay. All right. So next, Trig comes to the rescue for his friend. I do not know his name, guys. But he helps clean up the shop and everything, right? All right. But the cops might have killed him if Trig did not come to the rescue. And the sad thing is, like, this would be sad either way because it's an innocent man. But another sad thing about it is that the man is mentally delayed. All right. And it seems that some police officers don't even bother to consider this sometimes. Sheesh. Like, come on. It's just messed up. But I'm glad that Trig stepped in and the cops backed down. All right. Next, after surviving Jayda's high school reunion, her and Suede are in the bed. And as he's caressing one of her breasts, he finds a lump. So he was like, what's this? And Jayda tells him that it's nothing to worry about and the lump has been there for years. She also tells him that she gets it checked out every year. She actually said she gets it checked out every birthday, right? But Suede lets her know that he wants her to get it checked out again. So Jayda gets her lump checked out again, and she gets the terrible news that the lump is cancer, guys. Whew, and this was sad, of course, and it just had me thinking so many things, like, why didn't they just remove the lump to be on the safe side? I mean, here is this woman who gets checked out every year and they still couldn't find the cancer in time. And according to the preview of next week's episode, her cancer is actually more aggressive than they thought. So my question is, what good did those yearly mammograms do? Like, the cancer should have been found, and if anything, the lump should have been removed. And to be honest, guys, a benign lump should be observed on a more frequent basis, okay? I know some people that had to go back in like 3 to 6 months to make sure everything was still good, okay? Because waiting a whole year is a bit risky. All right. Also want to let you guys know that I'm going a little deeper into this situation because before COVID, I used to lead a health seminar that discussed breast cancer and cervical cancer awareness. Okay. And some of the things that I went over with the young ladies were teaching them how to do breast self-exams monthly, when to do them, when not to do them. So basically the best time to do them. And then when they get a certain age that they have to have yearly mammograms. So my whole point in saying this is, if I'm over here teaching young ladies that they have to get a yearly mammogram for early detection because early detection raises their chances of survival. And then we get this character who freaking goes every year. She's doing things by the book and they still couldn't find the cancer. It's like, wow, what are we teaching? The ones that are out here teaching and raising breast cancer awareness, what the heck are we teaching people if they're abiding by it and the cancer could still go unnoticed or, or be misdiagnosed? Like, that's freaking messed up, all right? So my point in bringing all of this up, because I don't want to get too deep into it, because honey, I could start with statistics. I could just go down the line, okay? And I'm not going to do that. But my thing is, when instances like this happen, okay, the situation that's happening right now with Jayda, A second opinion is very important, all right? One thing that I definitely like to teach guys is self-advocacy. It's always good to get a little knowledge on something that's going on with your body, or maybe a condition or something like that, so that when a doctor tells you, hey, yeah, take this medication, or we're going to do this or do that, when you know they probably should be running some tests, you need to advocate for yourself and say, no, I'd like this test ran, and if you have a doctor, because there's a lot of crappy doctors out there, there's a lot of good doctors out there too, all right? That's why I'm saying a second opinion is another option, all right? Exercise that option, guys, all right? Now, like I said, I'm sorry for dwelling on that, but I just thought that was important. Next, we see Kevin, his whole family at an OB appointment with Keisha, right? And they see the baby through an ultrasound. And they are told that everything looks good and Keisha has a healthy baby. We also see that hearing the baby's heartbeat for the first time touches Kevin, all right? And it possibly has him viewing the baby differently instead of how he's been viewing the baby lately, right? He's got this attitude towards Keisha's baby because it was conceived from a man that raped her, okay? So he clearly don't got no love for this baby, but I believe that upon hearing the heartbeat, he started to feel a little different. Like, this is a person inside. And I just believe that this is going to probably have him view things differently and turn his mindset around when it comes to Keisha's baby, all right? So from this scene, guys, it looks like the whole family is getting attached to Keisha's baby. We even saw in an earlier scene that Dre and Nina are open to the possibility of having an additional mouth to feed if Keisha doesn't find a family for the baby. Anyway, folks, that's how the episode ended. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. All right, guys, before I go real quick, I do want to let you guys know that I have more to say about Gemma, and I just didn't want to go crazy in this video. So I'm going to do a separate video about that, my take on the whole situation with her and Kev. All right, so make sure you guys tune in for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.